guys, hey, a little bit of a late start today, but I got the day off and it doesn't really matter what time I start as long as I start. And hi, welcome to my studio. It's Kim here at Kim Overholt Art and Entertainment Studio, and I am your hostess with all the toast. My name is Kim Overholt. Hi, yeah, let me stand up for a second. I'm a stand-up comedian myself. Not really. But hey, welcome to my little studio here where obviously I'm always busy doing artwork and always, I don't know where to put my chair anymore. I know I have to stay off my feet a lot, so I also wanted to do another episode of Comic Book Boot Camp. So just to kind of get you all warmed up for what's going to be coming up in the next little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of like thinking of the next issue of my comic book boot camp, which I'm going to be posting over here. Or, I might work on another painting. I've been, it's crazy, but I've really gotten the hang of drawing Brad Pitt, so I might even draw another Brad Pitt. And this is John Winter. John Winter is one of the other artists, one of the other models that I've been painting lately, and I've gone over it a few times. I have to work on it a little bit more. It does need a little bit more work, but he's happy with it. He says it's coming along nicely, and I'm just like, yeah, it's coming along nicely. So yeah, at least I talk to him. I don't talk to Brad Pitt because, as you know, I've had many issues in the past with talking to celebrities. They're never usually who they say they are. Oh, let me turn my light so you can see me. Oh, all the studio things you have to do to prepare to get ready for doing a little sequence, right? Okay, yeah, maybe this will help. No. Okay, I think I better just leave it where it was. Leave it. Yeah, leave it alone. Okay, so hello. I know I gotta be careful which foot I'm on because I do have a problem with my heel, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea for your next little bit of comic book boot camp and stuff like that. So storylines are always fun to kind of work with, and being that sometimes being an artist, you are telling a story with your paintings. You always want to make sure, even when you're doing drawings, that if you want to tell a story, that's the perfect way to do it. God, it is freezing up here. I got to tell you, my studio is almost like being at the studio in New York, where they let you into the studio and it's freezing. And the only reason that it gets warmed up is because the amount of bodies that they end up bringing into the theater and warms it up. There's no theater in here. I have no. I'm going to be freezing while I'm showing you all this stuff today, but that's okay because we need to learn. It's the only way to do stuff is by learning, right? By example. So a little bit of, I'm going to be doing a little bit just to start you off, just because I know you've seen me doing this before, a comic book boot camp. We're just going to continue it on a little bit more. And I also have, what'd you call me? I also have my phone up here with me so I can refer to it when I need to. And I also have you, if you have any questions, if you want to know any different about making comics. Okay, so it's Monday, and Monday is a great way to start getting ready to try to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life, even if you're having a time where you're deciding in your life, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Hey, I'm 50 something and I'm still trying to figure it out myself. It's a process for sure, and you learn as you go along what you like and what you don't like, that kind of thing too. So I love doing comics, and I always do comics a lot, and just but the only thing is I never show people my comics because it's more of a personal thing. For some people it will be a personal thing too, because I watched this one movie called Comic Books Confidential, and they say you have to make sure that you're always you keeping with your character, and you're always building on your character to make it a little bit more interesting and that kind of thing. So when you start making characters, it's always good to have an idea in your head. Now, I'm one of those people that I love movies, and I've loved all old Hollywood, and I love every idea that of scary movies to dramas to thrillers to anything that has to do with Alfred Hitchcock or suspense, whatever it is. It's those kind of things that you have to think about when you're making up a comic book too. What you're going to put, you got to have a little bit of tension going on between the character and maybe the issue that he's trying to resolve, say. So it's always good to kind of think about what kind of comic book you want to make it into, of course. There's always different styles too. You don't have to do the traditional comic book style as everybody's, you go to the typical, yeah, start. I just did this because it's always almost like when you go to the movies. And the first thing you see, of course, would be the title. And of course, the next thing that you see to get you established would be where you are. So you're establishing shot. Could be a meadow, could be like I do with an example where I did Hyperboy, one of my characters, where it makes it really simple. He's in a playground and he's just waiting for something to happen. So, like I say, Hyperboy. So, yeah, that's an establishing shot. And then you make up a story about like what the course of the day is and what he has in mind. And, like I say, you don't have to make it so that they all are all the same. You can make some circle ones too. You can have it like a split screen kind of thing where you're doing like this, and then you're doing like a little panel over here looking like that. And you can also add like another one at the bottom where it has like at the end it's like a dream sequence or something. And you should make it look like a yeah. And that's kind of like you think about what kind of a story you want to tell. Hi boy, what are you doing today? You'd be like concentrating on something for sure. This is reason that this right here. It's got that little focus on him. Maybe he's playing with a slingshot, say, and he wants to aim at something and he's not quite sure, and at the end ends up doing something, thinking about maybe he's shooting aliens or something. So it's a little alien ship kind of thing, right? And he's like firing shots at it. That kind of thing, gives you a little bit of a clue. Oh, there's my eraser. I was going to grab my mouse. The mouse isn't going to help me with this. No, I have to grab my dry eraser and erase all this all off. It's always a lot of fun to come up with ideas for stories. I love a lot of good stories. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about the plight of time. Yeah, okay. So here, so it starts off, of course, hot. It was a hot, hazy afternoon. So it was a stormy night. No, so you can always start. If you have an idea for a story, always the perfect one to start off with. It was a dark and stormy night, and that just gives you some suspense to start thinking about what your character might be doing. So it'd be a dark and stormy night. You can make, what goes with stormy. Of course, you can make like lightning bolts, kind of thing, clouds, make the establishing shot of where you might be, that kind of thing. You can start off like this too if you wanted to, just by writing something and then putting the character into a spot. You can even have the title appear, like say, light of time here. And so the playtime, I'll give you a little bit of an example of my story. It goes a little bit like this. And I'll do it kind of in sequence if I can make sure I keep it in sequence. Because there's two parts, and it's one side of this world and one side of the other world, and they kind of come together. So it's almost like it starts off. Starts off in fantasy land. So you start off like there's water there, and there's land there, and making the land, a place where It was hot. And you can have a character, maybe even just an over-the-shoulder shot of the character right there. Over-the-shoulder shot, and he's looking across at his whole thing. And he's looking at the water, and the water's looking really promising. He's actually kind of very hot. It's a hot and hazy day, so he decides to go. This character that I have, which actually he has. Does he have horns? I think so. He's a satyr, so he has horns and he's got pointy ears like Spock. And there we go. So you can have something like looks like it'd be something terrifying, but then you see him afterwards. And he's running into the water, and the water's splashing up and everything. And he's in the water, like enjoying himself. Okay, he's like, okay, finally, nice and cool. But then he hears something, and it makes him stop. So you can have him like all of a sudden that'd be like. There's like a sudden phase, like oh, like he hears something, and. So again, you can make like a face kind of like looking up into the sky, looking around. So and you think about it, so there's the character. So he's the character, and he's splashing in the water, and he's a satyr. Well, he's a satyr, so he's part horse, or actually, he's centaur. Yeah, so he's part horse. He's not a satyr. He's a centaur. Okay, so part horse. I keep repeating myself. Part horse, and he goes into the water. He's splashing in the water and stuff, and blah blah blah. And he hears the sound coming out of the sky all of a sudden, and although there's this sky looks kind of funny, like something could happen, but then suddenly he hears something, and whatever he can be looking out, like again you can show picture of him looking out and seeing something going on in the water beside him, like there's some kind of starting weird thing. He's looking over his shoulder. Okay, so it's like over the shoulder shot, and he's looking up. He sees like the sun is not kind of getting clouded by some weird cloud formation, and all of a sudden, and then you can put like whoosh, something happens. Well, here actually in the park. Was supposed to be a cutaway to another scene where he hears something, but here, actually, he's looking at something that's happening. But he hears something too, because you hear it, and you see the clouds are parting, and then all of a sudden, there's like a bird comes out of nowhere. You can design whatever you want for it, kind of thing, and character is like a bird, and here he is there, the guy who's like he's kind of scared, he doesn't realize who it is, kind of thing. So it's like, oh, So, but I mean, you can continue this as and this is just like one page. You can continue with the page, and continue with the story, a visual story. People call these storyboards if you want, and yeah, I do a lot of storyboard art too. So, and just for quick ideas for stories, you can sometimes draw them out too is good to kind of give you an idea of how you want to begin and how you want to end a story too. But if if you don't want to hang out with me and learn a little bit more about doing comic books, you can contact me at kimworld.com and send me a message and say, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more about doing comics, and this is what I have in mind. And I can give you some suggestions and help too that way too. I'd like to keep it short and sweet first, stuff like that, and go into different sequences and things like that, just in case I have something else I wanted to let you know. But yeah, so that's one little thing to get you started with learning about comic books, is trying to think first of the story itself, of what kind of story you want to see. You can have anywhere from something that is very dramatic to something that's very funny. It can be like a funny skit of some sort that you can make up too. So, but I'd rather leave that in your good hands and have you come up with something. So next thing I want to talk about is character design. So making characters is always interesting. So like I say, with my characters, I always think about, like, in the flight of time. There's one, his name's Ryan. Actually, so you think about characters. So there's Ryan, and he's a boy. So it's about, say, 12. Thinking. Maybe younger. Old enough to be able to go out on his own, kind of thing. And you can imagine, like, he's got brown hair and, say, green eyes. You can make a whole backstory on him. The reason there's a thing about him where he's trying to get away from his mom. Well, why was he wanting to get away from his mom? Well, maybe because she drives him out of his mind. Oh, do this, do that, And sometimes you got to get away from your parents once in a while to kind of, like, get a feel for doing your own thing. Oh, we got the street sweeper going by, sweeping our street. I remember when I was up in Timmins, they had lots of street sweepers machines in Timmins early in the morning, and they were cleaning it up constantly. It must be very dusty up there for sure. Anyways, neither here nor there. Yeah, so you write about your character, what you want to see, what your character is, and then you can flesh it out too. So, so there's the main character is Ryan, and he's the hero of the story. And then there's he meets a couple of characters along the way. Now I'm, like, drawing a blank. I'm trying to remember what my story was about. I'm going to reread my story because I totally have forgotten. But anyways, he gets into he gets to meet all his characters and stuff. It's because it's live. I'm thinking, and nothing's coming to me. It's like off the top of my head, I got nothing. I think I'd start off better by making sure that I had something for you. But I am just wanted to get you going. So interested in maybe doing a comic book boot camp. So storylines are important. Character building is also very important. Making a cartoon character, whether you want it to be more realistic or more cartoon-like, is your call for sure. And the thing is too that you can make your story to be whatever you want it to be. You don't have to go by everybody's guidelines. It's only what you want to make it. And it's therapeutic too, because there are times where you can. Here's the thing that I used to do when I used to have somebody bullying me, because being an artist, it's an odd, like, you're a little bit odd, can say the least. So doing something to make it a little bit easier for me was like, if somebody was bullying me, I'd do a caricature of them doing something, and then tear it up and throw it away, and I felt so much more better about and I don't have to deal with it anymore. It almost feels like you're completing something, right? So that's always it's something that's very therapeutic for you, especially when you do your own cartoons. And you know what? Even when you're thinking about your favorite poem, there's a poem I like, and then I did make a cartoon of it, which is called "To Earthward," which is basically I made it funny, but it's a story of a guy who is in so love with somebody, and when they lost him, they were shattered, basically. But the way I made it, it was almost like something out of the Mad magazines. And if you ever read a Mad magazine, oops, You know that there's they kind of poke at things and make it a little bit more funnier. So what I did, I made it look like he was falling as he was talking about falling out of a relationship. He's actually falling and rolling down a hill, hitting a tree, and sinking into some quicksand. If I if I recall how the whole story goes, it starts off, love and lips was touch as sweet as I could bear, and once that seemed too much, I lived on air. So it shows a guy. So I'll give you a little rough of idea. It's funny. So I started off. Love at the lips was touch as sweet as I could bear, and once it seemed too much, I lived on air. So it shows a guy, and there's a hill, and he's taking a run for it. He's just made himself a new set of wings to try out, because he's an inventor. So he makes himself a new set of wings. I lived on air. So the next thing I did was make him like up the hill. He's up in the air. So he's flying in the air. And he gets so far when he realizes, here's the hill again over here. When he realizes that it isn't working, and he's about to go, falling down. So as he's falling down, you see you can make like lines that come down and make it look like he's falling. And all right, yeah, I try to keep this nice and simple and fast for you. And then so yeah, he falls, and so here's the hill there, and the next thing it shows the hill, and it shows him like on the hill. Oh no, actually, rolling down the hill. So it shows shows him like falling from the thing and rolling down the hill, and there's like a foot there, and there's his hand there. There's another hand over here. Whoa! It's like rolling down the hill. So he starts rolling down the hill. Oh, I'm so bad at this. I just want to do it fast so I can show you. I hit that nose. Okay. So here's the hill. So the hill was longer than he thought it was. He started up pretty high up in the air. So now he's going down this long hill, and he's rolling down the hill. I loved the lips was touched as sweet as they could bear, and once I seemed too much, I lived on air. That cost me some from sweet things. The smell of, was it musket? Hidden grapevine springs downhill at dusk. Downhill at dusk, seeing downhill. And then eventually, like, there's a tree at the bottom of the tree here. So, downhill at dusk. That crossed me from sweet things, the smell of, and then eventually, he smacks into the tree. It's a Robert Frost poem, actually, that I'm doing. So, that Christmas is the smell of what was it? I had the swirl and echo, spray of honeysuckle that would go there, shake dew on the knuckle. I crave strong sweets, but they seemed strong when I was young. The petal of the rose, it was that stung. Okay, so yeah, he was, so he hits the side of the thing, and he stands back up, and he sits back up, and he's all like, hey, like he's just kind of like stunned now. He's got a lump on his head. Right. Bang. Yeah, so he banged his head. So, and then like, now no joy lacks salt that is not. Now no joy lacks salt that is not bound with pain and weariness and fault. And so he's sitting there, he's trying to recover. See, so I have him just like recovering on the ground next to the tree that he just banged into. I crave the stain, the aftermark of almost too much love, the bitter bark and burning clove. The aftermarket almost took us blah, 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 blah. When stiff and scarred, I take away my hand from leaning hard in grass and sand. So now now in grass and sand. Now he's realizing that he's starting to sink under the in grass and sand, right? So now he's realizing, oh, he's starting to sink underground, and there's the tree. And now he's sinking into the ground. The weight is not enough. I've longed for the strength to feel the earth is rough to all my length. So at the end, here's the tree. And you don't see him underneath the tree anymore. Because he's actually now blowing bubbles. At the bottom here. So, quicksand. Yeah, then there's a sign here that says, beware quicksand. And then you see how this story develops very easily. Now, there were more panels involved in this, but I just wanted to give you, again, just a rough little show you how I do stuff. So you see motion happening. Obviously, the guy's starting off, he's flying, and then he's falling down the hill, rolling down the hill. So rolling down the hill, hits the tree, kind of like stuns himself. There, that. All right, and so he's sitting up, and he's trying to recover himself. So as he's sitting there, he's not happy about it, of course. But then he notices that there's a sign over here. And he notices the sign. Yeah. And too late. He just sinks into the ground. So there's a quick little cartoon that I love to do. That was one of my fun ones. I love Robert Frost too. I'm a big Robert Frost fan. I got 98% in college when not 98% in college. In high school when I was doing English class and did a project on Robert Frost. I love poetry and I love theater, and I wish that it had changed my idea and maybe gotten into being a director. I'd rather have been a director of film and screen. That's what I really like to do, because I have so many ideas and so many good stories I've read that would make great movies. And that's the other great thing about being able to do like the storyline, because then if you ever want to, if you see a story that you like and you want to make it your own, you want to make it into your own cartoon that you can go back to and look at. Like I have a few stories that I made into cartoons that I will go back to later on, and it'll give me some peace of mind when I'm old, and I'll be like, wow, I remember those things, remember those days, and da da da. Keeps me happy, and that's what the main part of probably doing the whole thing is just giving yourself something that makes you feel good and make you feel happy about you, because what it comes down to basically is what you want to do and what do you want to do with your art. Should I stop now? I don't know. I was going to bring up my ukulele and play a little tune, but I think I'll pass. I've got a few things I got to get done today, including like completing my painting here, because it is so close. It is looking good, and I just want to get the rest of the detail in there and make it a little bit better. Who knows? I might be shipping this out to Germany, and maybe his mom will want something. Who knows? He could be like a cousin of mine. Who knows? But anyways, so and of course, I like doing pictures of Brad Pitt, and it's just become like I've been doing it now for 2 years. It's become almost like I don't feel complete unless I try to do another Brad Pitt. It's better than Anyways, so I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I am just going to be, like I say, here in my studio. I'm hoping the weather's going to improve. It was looking pretty good for a little while. I see patches, little tiny bits of sun coming through, and I hope that maybe it'll end up clearing up a little bit so I can go outside, maybe play a little ukulele or, just hang out a little bit. Oh, I want to show you my James Dean because I'm always like, I love looking at it. Oh, there it is. There we go. Oh, and you know what? I gotta find that picture of Johnny Depp because I have a friend who said, "Oh, you got a picture of Johnny Depp?" And I said, "Yeah." And it's just a matter of finding it. Give me a second. I want to find it to show you. All right. Where are you? Okay, these are all the ones that I do on my classes. There it is. There we are. My Johnny Depp. There we go. That's not a bad one either. See, finger paintings are kind of fun to do. And they can be colorful too. So I've done many finger paintings in my past. Actually, maybe I'll give you a little. Yeah, I'd love to give you a little sample of some of the stuff that I do. Now I got to fix this one a little bit because I painted and then I accidentally, got a little bit of paint on there. I gotta get rid of that. John Anderson of Yes. Yeah. Some of my paintings that I do. Let me just move this aside. I can show you some more paintings. La 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 la. James Dean. Yeah, it's a little crooked, but it's a finger painting and it's practice for me. Like I say, James Dean, Johnny Depp there. Actually, I'm thinking of maybe giving it to Brad Pitt. I asked these people if they want their paintings, but I haven't heard. Well, I won't be hearing from James Dean. I know that for sure, and I'm sure I won't be hearing from John Anderson in any near future because there's nobody online. They claim that they are there. They're not there. They're not there. There's a bunch of people just want to take your money from you. So be warned. Be warned. Okay, so let me give you a little. All right. So my finger painting of Sting, la la la. As you can see, a little bit funny in the eye there, but I got it down. And there's different colors in this one too. I love adding color to it. That's for sure. Let me give you a showcase of my art. I'll just bring it over to you. No, you don't have to come here. Let me just show you. And you know what? I have an idea. I might be doing a painting today too. I might be doing a very colorful painting because I've been thinking about something with lots of color in it rather than just a little bit of color. Now, my Jim Morrison finger painting. And it's I do a little bit of an abstract look because I do enjoy that. Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. Abstract, of course. That's beautiful. La, la, la. And there's Jim Morrison holding out. Why not give you a taste of some of the stuff that I do? Yeah, little taste. All right. Little taste because you know what? We have time here and I have time and I don't mind. Oh, I did this beautiful. I do scenic pictures too, and this is like very, very nice. It's a very pretty one. It's anything you see that you like is for sale. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me at kimorgold.com. I can give you some. This is actually my one friend. He's a poet, and he's done many poems with my artwork. So this is This is like Morning in the Waves. It's pretty. I do not just portraits of people. I do landscapes, and this is, of course, a very cool one. I have to kind of get a little bit closer so you can see. It's like a variation of sprites and what do you call that? It'll come to me in a second. Aurora Borealis, that's it. Aurora Borealis. There we go. I've got it down. That's a good one. I've done bra styles. These are the ones that I did for the kids when I was at the Penn Center for March break. Of course, no March break anymore because of COVID. Thank you very much, Mr. Government. Around the world, everybody is suffering. All right, and of course, everybody loves this painting. Anybody wants it, come get it. I love this painting. This is my Baron Samedi, but this is a Baron, and obviously he is, his eyes glow in the dark. I love this picture. La, la, la. La, la, la. Oh, and other Baron Samedi coming out of the coffin, more of the New Orleans style type of playing around with ideas. Everybody has their own thing that they like to do. I love doing stuff like this. Wait closer so you can see it. There we go. Oh yes, and it was Gary Oldman's birthday not too long ago, and I love this picture. His eyes glow in the dark, actually. It was kind of neat. And my David Bowie, I'm still working on it. It's still not quite the way I want it. I did a live sequence a few years back when I was working on this one, and weird stuff was happening at the same time. Very interesting. Oh, and by the way, yes, somebody asked me, yes, this is natural. Yeah, especially when it gets very, very wet outside. That this is like Niagara Falls area, misty and stuff. My hair curls like you would not believe. Craziness. It drives me crazy. Okay, so these are just the samples of some of the things that I like to do for fun. Ba 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 ba. And I've sold my stuff into the States, and I've sold quite a few lately, and I'm very proud of myself for at least having a little bit of recognition for some stuff. I am always trying to improve and better at my art. Of course, everything that I bring out, I have to put back because I make a mess. And today I was going to just spend it kind of tidying up, getting all my stuff together. Who needs to swear? You don't want to say shit. What did you just say? So, yeah, my James Dean is sticking down the side there. And my Brad Pitt. He probably wouldn't even like this. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be painting over a painting because somebody gave me this one big painting for some unknown reason. Said for me to keep it, but I'm thinking I'm going to put something else on there rather than having it be that. I'm thinking I'm going to make it into a giant tiger or something. Giant tiger? Maybe not giant tiger, but maybe I'll make it into a giant lion or something. I do have an idea for a painting, and I'm going to get myself set up, and maybe I will do some live sequence painting in a little while. But yeah, this is the picture. It is quite nice, and it's too bad that they didn't want to keep it because it means something to somebody at one point, and why would they get rid of it if seriously, We'll find out. We're going to make something really brilliant out of this. And I also do, just so you guys know, if you ever have a piece of art that isn't like what you'd like it to be, not quite there, or you have a picture in your mind, I've done this where I've taken people's pictures and enhance them. So I do picture enhancement too. So, but anyways, neither here nor there, and I'm going to get set up because I really got to do something other than I have to clean, but I can do that tomorrow. Today, I'm going to take advantage of just being creative and keeping creative, and I hope you keep creative too. It's not hard. I mean, it's not hard. It's not easy sometimes either, but we have to do it. You got to keep going because there's people out there that want to see what you got in you as well. So, and I'll show you what I got going on a little bit later. But in the meantime, have a good one, and thank you for tuning in. And thank you, all 27 of you, for paying attention. And I'll see what I can come up with and maybe make you happy. Okay, that makes it easy. That's at least a small crowd to start. That works. I can do that. Okay, so have a good one. Kim Overholt signing off in my studio. And yeah, it's going to be fun. The day has just begun.